live. There's my go live button. And there's a lag. Okay, yay. There we are. Okay. We are awesome. Hey, everyone. Thank you for being here with us on Third Eye Salon. If this is your first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so happy to have you with us. For those of us who tune in every week, bless you. We love you. We are so happy that you're part of our community, and we just treasure and value you. So welcome to Third Eye Salon, where we take a fresh look between the veils of reality in each and every show. And today, we are taking a fresh look between the veils of reality regarding the lost city of Atlantis. And not just the lost city of Atlantis, but the power crystals which caused its destruction, and the ETs who are working with the crystals in a positive way to rehabilitate the planet. What am I talking about? We're going to get into that. It's going to be a great show. First, I do want to bring up that Jillian is not with us today. Our dear, sweet friend Jillian, who is a Kundalini, OBE, ET, and Spirit experiencer. Her sister, Kara, or Kara, I'm not sure how she pronounces that, is in a health crisis right now. And so if you would lift up Jillian's sister for a moment and just send her healing energy, send her love, and send Jillian some healing energy as well. It's a stressful time for the family. Kara or Kara, she is a mother of 3, and this is a really intense health crisis that she's in. So if we can just lift her up for a moment and love them up. We just lift you up, Jillian. We lift up Kara. We lift up her kids. We lift up your entire family and ask that the angels, the guides, all the beings of love and light just surround them and guide them through this crisis to the other side of wholeness, into wholeness. So we love you. We bless you. And we ask for your absolute best, the highest outcome for you and your family, your sister and her children. Amen. So let us take a quick look at who is in the salon today that we have. Of course, our lovely Linda is back with us. Linda, how are you feeling, by the way? I know last week we got to have our one-on-one show with you, and I really wanted to check in and give you a moment to say how you're feeling, because you had your own healing crisis a couple of weeks ago.
Well, we're going to start out. Hi, everyone. I am going to change the words used. We are not in a healing crisis. We are in a healing opportunity. Okay.
Yes.
So Kara is in a healing opportunity, and I really want everyone, when you think of her being whole, healthy, not in a poor her way, not in a, oh, I'm so sorry way. Picture love and light radiating from your heart, your soul, your every cell into a ball of light, and send it to her, and not just her, everyone who is in a healing opportunity. This is our chance to help everyone rise through one. Okay?
Okay, well done. Thank you for claiming that and redirecting that. That's awesome.
And as far as I'm concerned, I am whole. I am doing well. It is, it is not months. I am beyond ecstatic in everything in my health, and grateful every day, being in gratitude. So thank you, everyone, for all of your healing that you sent my way, that love and light. It made a difference.
It sure did. Linda, you're such a beacon of love. I just thank you for showing up and being so on point and radiant. Bless you. Thank you.
I am just reflecting everybody else. Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. And so that coughing in the background, that is our friend Shane Smith, Lightning Psychic. Shane, we are so happy that you're here. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I'm honored.
Excellent. Did you bring your fart machine?
It's always right here.
Okay, good, good. I feel safe now. Thank you. Um,
All is well and in order with the universe.
right, right. We can proceed. The fart machine is on deck. So I'm going to let you know that Linda will be doing our chats today. She'll be monitoring, not just monitoring, but engaged in chats, talking with you all. And that we have boundaries in the chat room. If somebody pops in and is trying to dominate the conversation or tell everybody that they're wrong or just pull attention in a way that's kind of negative and distracting, Linda will address that because we have boundaries. And if you're doing that, this isn't the right place for you. We love you, but we're going to send you on your way so you can get to the right place and do whatever you need to do. No drama here. So we ask that you would look down below in our description box. We have got links for Shane. Shane's got his website there. He's got his YouTube site there. And we also have our links down there below. We would love for you to join our Facebook events page. We have a Facebook event page where you can get updated on all of our shows as they are coming and sharing those shows with your friends. And we also have our Facebook group. So we would love for you to join our Facebook group. And thank you to everyone who donates to us. We have so many lovely people that donate and share their financial support for what we are doing. We have a link down below for that as well. And of course, as always, if you are not already a subscriber, we'd ask that you become a subscriber so that way you can be part of our YouTube family. And we'd ask that you would click the notification bell so you know when we go live. It's not always on time, but we do our best. And to share our content. If you find other people in your world that you know are going to dig this conversation, are going to benefit from this conversation, please share it on your social media. However you choose to share that, we would really appreciate that. And they will too. So first, we're going to hop into our bio, our Shane's bio. So you have a background understanding of him. And he's been on our show before. And if you got to watch those shows, awesome. If not, then please look back. We've got his shows on our both our website and on YouTube, of course. So I'll read Shane's bio and we will then start our journey, and I'll tell you what that journey is about in more details. I'm so excited to be sharing this with you all today. It was just such a high moment for me in terms of connecting with our ET friends. So, all right. Shane exhibited the gift of intuition and seeing spirits in his earliest memories as a young child and developed this ability throughout his life. Having this skill and coping with people who didn't understand, Shane's flair for comedy flourished, ultimately driving him to study acting in the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City in the 1980s. On July 7th, 1977, so that's 7/7/1997, Shane's psychic abilities were intensified when he was struck by lightning climbing Horsetooth Rock near Fort Collins, Colorado. Thus, he has become the lightning psychic. After this strike, Shane suffered physical and psychological injuries and began 5 years of recovery. In that time, Shane's gift dramatically increased and expanded, and we explored that in our first video with Shane. So it's a heartbreaking and amazing and inspiring story for sure. So we really encourage you to check out that first interview or conversation. Shane now communicates with spirit and gives captivating psychic readings for clients around the world. Shane also conducts personal and group psychic mediumship demonstrations on monuments, historic structures, and locations. And this happens when Shane and I are hanging out. It's spontaneously, he'll start to have flashbacks of a location and how it looked and how it smelled. And it's a blessing and a curse. Sometimes he doesn't want that to happen, but other times it's a fun little adventure to go on. So Shane can walk through an old building and see, smell, and hear, feel, and taste what happened in times long past. However, Shane's sole mission in life is to provide people with closure and bring healing to grieving hearts. And it's so real. Again, we go into that with our first conversation with Shane. And so now Shane currently is working as a psychic medium in Fort Collins, Colorado. And welcome again, Mr. Shane.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. So I'm going to let you guys in on what this conversation is about today. So Shane and I, last year, I'll just read this section and it'll actually kind of give you an insight and give us a little thumbs up. If you're interested in Atlantis, Lemuria, or Mu, as it was also called, and that's something that you're always keen and interested to know about and know more about, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, let us know that you're into the conversation. So the recounting of this unplanned journey that I guided my psychic friend Shane Smith through was captured by my notes that I managed to scribble down while the experience was happening and my memory of our conversation. Later, I verified some of the fuzzy points with Shane to make sure I understood his experience accurately. This impromptu cosmic foray occurred on Wednesday, and on a Wednesday evening, May 6th, 2020. So almost a year to the day, just 2 days off. And this was literally a conversation that Shane and I were just catching up on life. And we had no idea. This was not an agenda. This just happened spontaneously. And that's kind of the adventure of hanging out with Shane, is that we will just take these adventures and we'll just pull on a thread. Where does it take us? So, and just also so you know, there are certain things, because when Shane's in an altered state, it's like having a deep dream, right? You come out of the deep dream, there's some things you remember and other things are a little bit, this kind of still in that dream state. So we're gonna like cover things that Shane remembers, but also kind of reflect on the content itself, having a bigger conversation around that. So here we go. I'm going to read like little sections of this recounting, and then we're going to discuss, and I'll read more sections. So we get to have a little conversation all the way through. All right. Shane and I had scheduled a phone chat to catch up on life and our personal happenings during the COVID-19 quarantine. So Shane was telling me about how he was feeling this vibration in the earth, not the same as when he feels earthquakes happening. When he feels earthquakes, they can make him feel quite off balance physically. Shane can feel the quality of the quaking as some jump up and down and some move side to side. He gets those sensations within his body, and he also gets a sense of what direction they are coming from within the planet. He can feel if they are close, Nevada, Nevada or Colorado or California, for example, or far away like South America. When the earthquakes are located under the ocean, he feels like he's floating up on a wave and then coming back down again. This, however, felt more like a constant vibration. Curious about what this could be, and knowing that I could guide Shane into exploring the source of the constant vibration using his gifts, I talked Shane through a simple relaxation meditation and had him begin to follow these vibrations to their source. Initially, he located the origin point as being somewhere in the South Pacific. As he continued to hone in on the vibrations, he found that they were coming from what we could call the sunken city or region of the not so mythical Atlantis, which was a shock. Was a shock to me, at least. In the sunken area of what Shane identified as Atlantis, he saw two giant crystals. Shane identified them being about the size of two buses end to end. The bottom is larger than the tops, like a unicorn shape, slightly rounded at the top, but not perfect. I asked Shane what colors, senses, feelings, or details he noticed. He said that they looked like the colors of the chakras. Shane said that this vibration coming from the crystals was like an alarm clock going off, indicating that it was time to wake up. He said that the crystals were there because of the destruction of Atlantis, but now they were purifying the ocean. He said that because of this purification process, new species were coming back alive or coming back into existence after having been dormant. Shane said that previously the crystals had been used to create a resonance that had been used to destroy, but will now purify. Shane said that it feels scary because Atlantis, was destroyed, those people and the city, because they misused the technology. He said the crystals were now coming back online to fulfill their original purpose. I asked Shane about it feeling scary. Was it because of the enormous power of the crystals? But he said no, it was scary because of what they did, its residual energy. But then he said, something is repairing it. He elaborated that the crystal's colors are pulsating red, indigo, orange, and an odd-looking green. He relayed that the energy of the crystals were going in reverse direction to what it caused the destruction before. I offered some clarification, and Shane confirmed that the energy was now moving in the opposite direction of what it had been moving, which caused the destruction of Atlantis. That yes, the energy was now moving in the direction which was causing the purification of the ocean, the way the crystals were originally meant to operate. I'm getting chills. Okay, I'm just like tuning into the energy of it. All right. Then came even bigger news. Shane said that the crystals were being monitored and helped by ETs through some kind of beams. He said a huge change is coming. This big change related to the Earth moving into a higher dimension or frequency. The beams look like transparent gold, like ropes, almost magic from another dimension. He said that the gold beams coming from the ETs were holding Earth, healing it, and that they were attached to the crystals. He then stated that the ET's presence is all around the world from space, but we can't see them. He stated there were many more ships than just this one. Looking at the beams, Shane said he was seeing shapes, molecules, technology going through the gold beams, healing and changing and going forward, as in moving up the vibration and frequency of this planet and her people as the beams charged and activated the crystals. Laughing, Shane reported that the ETs were looking at the people of Earth and the coronavirus as a, quote, necessary stupidity. This is Shane's translation of their communications. Don't get triggered. Well, while the humans are being stupid, we'll fix it. It meaning the ocean, the planet, and our relationship to love in general behind their backs. So while we're all distracted with the coronavirus and Earth is clamped down in a lot of ways where communication, not communication, but travel, all the things that were causing toxicity, in our environment, all the industry that we do was slowing down. And it was a great time while we were distracted for the ETs then to really be able to activate. So let's pause there and just check in on our journey thus far. So Shane, you were saying before the show, some of the things that you were remembering is that the crystals were like in a dark cave. What do you like below the ocean? And so can you tell us what you see and sense about that when you see that?
Well, they were in a cave that was made out of sediment at the bottom of the ocean. And it was like you could put your hand inside the sediment. It was very bizarre. It was black, and it seemed that Atlantis was so incredibly deep that it was below the sediment.
Oh.
And then when the attitude of the alien beings, it was like they were really trying to help us out. It's almost like they're so advanced and we're like toddlers in our advancement.
Mm.
And they kind of run around after us, cleaning up our poopy piles. And then they try to teach us by giving us a rag and some cleanser, but we use the rag for a beach towel and we sniff the cleanser. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's like they can't interfere, but yet they're really trying to help us advance.
Okay. That is, and you skipped ahead a little bit. We haven't introduced the ETs yet, but
Oh.
we're going to get there. No, that's good though. So Shane, you also said before the show that you actually, during this, you also remembered us living, you and I living in Atlantis.
Yes, we were tall. We were friends. I don't remember a whole lot about it. I do remember the sun shining on our faces. I remember how amazingly blue and gorgeous the ocean was, and that we were really great friends, and we had jobs to do, and we were really tall, really tall.
Yeah, and I remember you saying that I think I was more tan complected,
Mhm.
and I think I was bald. There's just certain little details that I remember from that conversation. And like I had like this more manual labor job and you had some other type of job, but we were still connected. So even then, do you have any thoughts or reflection at this point, Linda, before I proceed?
Yeah, I'm just really fascinated about the during this whole crisis of the planet, this pandemic that's going around. I've had this very visceral, this is our time for slowing down, going inward, healing. Mother Nature is saying, cut it out. You've
Mm,
done enough. it's time to heal. We're not really paying that much attention to it. We're going back to normal, which drives me nuts. So my thing is with the crystals and this activation that's taking place. Is that do you have a sense, Shane, that that's an ongoing
I
attempt to help correct this?
I feel like they did that. It's the job that they did, and then they shut it off because it already started doing what it was supposed to do.
Oh,
I don't feel the vibration anymore, or so I think it did its job, and that was it for now anyway.
right. They can go back and access them again at any key points that they need to and turn those back on.
I can imagine as someone who's got, let's go with the prime directive of don't interfere, right? If that truly is a prime directive, don't interfere, free will, but seeing us being so destructive, wanting to boost it here and there as they can, but then, not doing it for us. Like,
Right.
like putting the Band-Aid on so that we don't bleed to death. But right, they're cutting, helping to fix that small wound so that we can heal, and giving us that chance.
Yes.
Am I getting that?
Well, I feel like they're all sort of working together, all the different races, um, to learn about us, to help us, um, and to help us advance so that we can be part of their community. They love us so much.
I kind of look at it as a parent's love with children.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that's well said. That that puts me to my heart center. All right. So I'm gonna pick up here, and this is where we're gonna meet the ETs. So yummy. All right. I guided Shane to follow the gold beams to their origin point and see if he could connect with the ETs facilitating this healing energy, or rather, if they would be willing to connect with us. He followed the beam up into their ship. At first, the reaction to him was, "What are you doing here? We're busy." But I wasn't so willing to let this golden opportunity to pass and asked him to respectfully ask them if they would be willing to chat with us at this time. I was excited to learn that they indeed would take time, so to speak, to connect with us. Their first message out of the gate was, "We are as one." I wasn't surprised, as this seems to be the universal message from benevolent ETs and other interdimensional light beings who are working with the planet at this time. But I wasn't satisfied with this obtuse pronouncement. "Yes, but that's like saying we all like cheese," I countered, meaning that this didn't hold any details that were of immediate revelation or of application. I asked who the ETs were: Pleiadians, Arcturians, Andromedans, light beings? Did they relate to any of those identifiers I probed? Shane looked for the word that would translate what he was being given. It wasn't this group or that, but a composite of all the groups. A confederation, I offered? Yes, Shane confirmed, this being the best word to represent their collective. We asked the ETs if it would be okay to ask them some questions. After all, their first response to Shane was, "What are you doing here? We're busy." So thankfully, they were still willing to indulge this unanticipated interruption. Shane said that they indicated that Kat and Shane and other seers have work to do. He expanded on this and clarified that they were referring to our ability to act as liaisons between the ETs and the rest of humanity. Shane said they already know what you want to ask and are saying, "You are already doing what you're supposed to do. Keep doing it. Our paths," meaning Shane and myself, "are already set." They relayed that it was important to be in the moment and let it happen. And apparently, from their vantage point at least, it already is. Again, "You're already doing it," and "We are all one" was repeated. Shane indicated that the answers he was seeing were so much deeper and more beautiful than what my direct question could elicit. I then asked about my galactic heritage. Could they provide any information about my ET lineage? Apparently, this was quite amusing to them, as Shane shared that they were laughing at my question. I wanted to know why this was funny to them, and Shane said that it was like someone eating dinner and then asking what they had just eaten. I asked if this was basically the human mind hiding this information from itself, but in reality, it's all right there. It's just a construct of the human mind that hides it, and this was confirmed. They also confirmed that I have experienced so many races and species galactically. I get the feeling it's like saying, yes, I've been to France, Germany, India, South Korea, that it's not so unusual to be for my soul to be part of, oh, I'll say that again, that it's not unusual to be part of a soul that has innumerable galactic incarnations. I wrote in my notes, my soul has embodied my soul has embodied different species at different times from what Shane conveyed. This line of questioning expanded into identifying my current mission, which is to push mankind to connect with ETs. Then the ETs stated something which I'm still considering, that I am on a star beam that okay, I'll say that again, that I am on a star beam that connects me with them because I have already been them. I questioned them via Shane to understand more about my role on the planet. What I understood from the ETs was that I'm trying to connect the human race to the frequency that they are at, that both Shane and myself are doing our work to connect to where they're at. And that, yes, this is a higher frequency, but it's not to say better, just different. Stay on your path, do your work, they communicated. They encouraged me to clear your mind and affirm that I am fulfilling my purpose. So then I want to take a pause here and say, ask Shane, what was your first connection with ETs? Like when you and I hang out in the hot tub, as we are often want to do, we start to connect with angels, we start to connect with ETs and whatnot, and we have these really great experiences. But as a psychic medium, people think, oh, well, you work with people who've crossed over, but you're connected with all the dimensions in many ways. And so when did the ETs first start to show up for you in your consciousness that you're like, oh, that's real?
Well, when we are together, hanging out in the hot tub, just having a drink and relaxing, sometimes I will see your face and it changes into so many different
Mm,
uh, races, species,
mm.
different aliens, different male, female, the different lives you've had, old, young, male, female. It's just, it keeps changing. It's just so incredibly interesting.
Nice. Yeah, I remember. Well, we've had so many different moments, but I remember because I do, like, I mean, I do channel, and I
Oh
don't really
gosh,
talk about
yes,
it.
yes.
And I don't really talk about it because it's one of those things where I'm like, that's not my claim to fame. But like, I do that, and I feel like I do that a lot with you because you and I are definitely, we come from the same soul pod, as it were, and I feel comfortable doing that, but it also just it happens in such a way where I'm like, oh, I'm channeling now. It's like I've gradually shifted into that, and I'm like, oh, I'm channeling, and then you'll tell me, oh, your cat just changed. Oh, you're wearing a helmet now. You know, like you'll let me know that I've shifted in it. Um, but it's nice that I'm able to do that with you, and I can kind of channel wit for you, and then I can kind of take you on journeys, and we kind of do this side by side exploration together.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And I see you, Kat, as my guide incarnate.
It
And
doesn't pay well,
you work
but
well.
it's very soul rewarding. No, JK. Um, yeah, I mean, I think, and I feel one of our gifts, Shane, one of our gifts, my gifts in our relationship is that being with you, I feel comfortable going into that role, and I don't hide it with you. It's just natural. It's like I
Yeah,
slip into that state very naturally, which allows me to know that I can do that on a bigger level and a grander level
absolutely.
as that time comes. Do you remember though the first time that you had an ET encounter on any a psychic level? Are there any memories that stand out for you? And if not, that's okay, but I'm just
The
wondering.
only memories that I can think of right now are when I do readings, sometimes I do see people as ETs in a past life. Um, and other than you taking me there, I don't really have a lot of ET encounters that I can recall, unless you can remember one.
Well, I do remember a couple hot tub times ago hanging out, and we were talking about the Ponti. And if any of you are longtime viewers, long time meaning like, we've been around for like 8 months, but we'll know that the Ponti, Sue Walker, and Otter, Reverend White Otter, have come on the show to talk about the Ponti. And so Shane felt a deep connection to a Ponti called Druti. And we had our big Ponti party, and Shane got to have got to have a little reading from Druti. And then we connected in the hot tub saying, hey, are there any Ponti that would like to connect with Shane right now? And do you remember who came? Because if you don't, I do.
I don't. When I'm in those, when you put
Altered
me into
states.
those altered states, I just don't remember. I remember parts of it.
Right.
I don't, but I do remember Druti.
Mm-hmm.
When I first saw her picture, I thought, "Well, she looks so familiar, and why do I love her so much? She's so
Right.
incredible."
Right.
And then through Sue, she told me that she'd been monitoring the men in my family, my father, my grandfather, great grandfather, for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I would imagine she pops in now and then and knows me, um, but she's not allowed me to see her physically
Yet.
yet.
Right. Well, the Ponti that came through, his name was Tinky.
Oh yes, Tinky, I remember now.
Yep, and he didn't come from the Sandia. Oh, I got chills. He didn't come from the Sandia Mountains. He came from a different location. He's from a different, and forgot where it was from, but it wasn't Sandia Mountains. But anyway, he came through, and he had a communication with Shane, and some information for me as well. He was very dear and sweet. Because I was like feeling jealous that Shane could see him and I couldn't. But then he reached out to me and like energetically touched me and was like, "We love you. We're here for you too." So that was really nice, because it's like Shane I'm the driver, but Shane's got his eyes on the road. So it's a very interesting duo that we make when we have these experiences. Linda, do you have any thoughts or feedback, questions?
Yeah, I can empathize with Shane on not remembering things, because there's often times where I will say something to clients, and if I didn't record them, I would not have any recollection
Yes,
of what was said to them. So when you're in that state, for me at least, I've had to learn to just be okay not remembering things. And I
yeah,
thought at first I thought it was, just age and ADD and all of these other things. But the more I get into that state, the more it's just you're in the moment, you don't remember those things. Like that's then. That's then. So it's very hard sometimes for me to relate to even the world, because it's like, okay, that's in the past. We're here right now. And so I can understand, Shane, you don't remember what's happening at that moment,
Yeah.
and life becomes moment to moment versus the past.
yes.
Mm.
It's like when I do a reading and use their photos of someone who's passed, or their photo, and spirit comes through, and I do automatic writing. So when it comes time for me to do the phone call and do the reading, I have it all there on paper that they've told me. Otherwise, I won't remember much of it.
Right. Right. And I don't think it's for us to remember. It's like
Right.
it's a
It's for
private
them. It's for them.
conversation, right?
Yes.
It's like that's if I carried all of that, it's not for me to carry.
It
It's
would
for
be
me to
Exactly.
too
pass
much.
on.
It would be too much to have to carry everyone's story in your memory and have to
Right.
hold that.
Right.
Yeah. It's more like a dimensional location that you get to tap into, pick up the information, deliver it, and then you're out of that dimensional location.
Right.
Exactly, Kat. That's a great way to put it.
That's what I do, Shane. I translate your experiences so other people can understand them. Um, and I wanted to say also, just a little side note, we got some positive comments about my shirt Thank you. Linda bought this for me. And I was like, today's the day I'm going to wear this. And Linda's story is that she was like compelled to go into a thrift store. And she was like, why? Why? Like her guides were like urging her to go in. She was like, what? Why? And then she saw the shirt and she was like, oh, that's for Kat. So I just want to like acknowledge Linda's guides and Linda's generosity. If you love this shirt, it's a thank you to Linda. I love the shirt too.
I'm sure they get frustrated with me asking why. It's like, just do it. Just go. I know you're in a hurry. Just take a left, go in now.
That's so awesome that you have that. Oh, I have to slow way down and listen for that to happen for me. So, hashtag not jealous. Okay, we'll continue on our story. So, I said that I would like to be able to channel ETs at some point. And would I be able to do this? And is it for me to do this? And like, it's like, oh, Shane's like, Kat, you're already channeling ETs, maybe. So, so they say it's not your time to channel them. Shane communicated in terms of public foray, a public setting. I do it with Shane, and I do it with. It happens incidentally. It seemed that I could channel others, which I took to mean my guides or galactic team, to which I have more direct connections. For now, it was for me to help Shane do just what we were doing in that moment, and that I can work with frequency to help Shane channel. Shane relayed that it's my role to be more of a facilitator right now. From the conversation, it seemed that my role of facilitator, when I relax into that role, that I would naturally channel their messages, which is what I do when I'm hanging out with Shane, which I took to mean having downloads of insight in the moment of teaching. Right now, it's easier for me to put others in those states. However, I would eventually be able to do this and would learn how to do so by helping others through my role as facilitator, which I just kind of take as like, again, me stepping into the water, being like, oh, look, you're already doing it. It's not like a, whoa, I'm channeling now. It's just a natural progression. I asked Shane what questions he had for our new friends. Shane wanted to know about the TV show he's been wanting and seeing himself do, a psychic investigator and host of his own TV program. Do it, came the reply, and then playfully, make it your duty to do it. They instructed Shane, don't be anxious, just manifest, which was similar to their message to me about clearing my mind and not letting our thoughts and frustrations get in the way of manifesting the experiences we want. Put the energy into where it needs to go and it will work out, they advised. Then the conversation about manifesting expanded in regards to the people who are helping Shane in his career. Remember, all of this communication is telepathic, which doesn't always use words. The communication is multi-layered, including emotions, gestures, feelings, images, and so on. Essentially, Shane was being told that his business team and myself can all help each other create what we are wanting by joining together and helping each other with our vibration and imagining with and for each other. This is something I had already begun doing with Shane and Linda, and now they were expanding on it. For example, if Shane's friend and business manager is wanting to experience a new home, we could all share that vision with her and then expand on it with ideas, excitement, feelings, images, etc. By imagining and expanding on the vision with her, our energy serves to make that intention more powerful, more tangible, and increases its frequency, bringing it into our physical experience with greater ease and in less time. It becomes a game and a pleasure to manifest when we all support each other's visions. I just love this so much. Not something that we have to work or struggle with creating. Our collective agreement and expansion on that person's vision anchors it into this reality much more quickly, effectively, and easily. Just like talking about Jillian and her sister saying yes to that reality, seeing it, not focusing on it and saying, like Linda was saying, like, don't be like, oh, poor Kara, oh, poor, we're focusing on the suffering, like see it for the outcome you want it, join in that collective vision, and then we collectively manifest it much more easily and quickly. Do you guys want to talk about that for a moment too, in terms of manifesting from that place? I know that Linda's a huge manifester, and yeah, what are your thoughts on manifesting and playing with each other to help manifest?
Get the frog out of my throat, manifest that frog. For me, it's the manifestation, because I'm so into observation. What was I like? What was going through my brain? What emotional state was I in when I manifest something? And like, pay attention, play with it, pay attention, because I now have much more of a recognition of, oh, if I'm in this state of awareness and being, that's when the magic happens. And so you're going to find those subtle differences, because I'm telling you, I've manifested when I'm ticked off. I've manifested when I'm desperate. I've manifested when I am in bliss.
Mhm.
So it's not necessarily the emotional state that you are in, but what is there was always this very solid, this is what I not command, but this is what I'm willing to accept in the universe.
I think command's okay. I think that you command the energy
Well,
when you
yeah, I guess
say
so.
not on my time, not on my watch, that's a command. And then you
Yes,
say, and whether it's coming out of, desperation or anger or bliss, no more of that, this instead.
right.
Like you make a
Show up.
resolution, show
Yes,
up, you make
show
a
up.
declaration. It's like a declaration.
It's a declaration. That's the word. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's really, and just feeling, not that mind game you play with yourself when you say it's already happened, but the knowing that it's already happened,
Mm.
the expectation that it's already there, and also just this ongoing, it's like a soft communication. So,
Mm.
when I've had manifestations, it's like, oh, I I have this local sculptor that I love his work. I've always loved his work. And I heard something on the radio that they were giving away. I had this immediate thought of, someday I'm going to own his piece. I'm going to own his work. And it wasn't even, it was out of the blue. And immediately on the radio came a raffle for his sculpture. I turned the car around and I bought $20 worth of tickets, right? Driving months later, totally forgot about it. I thought about it again and I thought, I'm owning his work. And on the radio, I heard them call my name for winning his work. So that's how it's like, it's that intention of, I'm going to own his work. And I got this like $800 sculpture. That's just amazing.
Yeah, for the
So
price of a raffle ticket.
for the price of a raffle ticket, because I said it, I listened, and I acted.
And you also felt it in your body. I
And I
think that
felt
that
it. It was
that
just, yeah,
knowing, as opposed to trying to trick yourself into believing it, when you know it, you feel it in your body. It's a different resonance, right?
it is a very different resonance. And sometimes it's like, wow, that's kind of brave of you, smarty pants, that you just, there's that self-talk and it's like, uh-huh.
Damn right it was. Thank you.
Yeah, it is. It's that. So it is that very subtle, and I encourage everyone in that transition and manifesting to really own it. And because we have incredible abilities. I could go time and time again. In fact, you can join our Facebook group, Manifesting Maniacs, and share your experience.
Ooh, share that link in your chat, Linda.
Okay.
Do
Yeah.
that. Do that.
Yeah.
Because
So
that's
join us,
Linda's
because I
group.
want to hear everyone's Manifesting Maniac experience.
Yeah, and supporting each other and encouraging each other, giving tips, giving the love, all of that. And then Shane, I know that over this last year, your life has really like you have a gorgeous office now in downtown Fort Collins. You are booked with clients. Like your life has really upgraded in terms of your manifestations. What's your experience been from your words, Shane? In your words.
Well, I just go into meditation and manifest, for example, a pile of folders with clients that I have, um, and I and it happens. So a week later, I'm looking over at my desk and I see a larger pile of folders. So now I'm manifesting even more to help more people which I would love to do. I love to do readings for people. Um, and I'm manifesting a television show. So then all of a sudden I'm doing YouTube videos for a television show I'd like to do to try and get it out there. And pretty soon I'm going to be able to do it more daily. I'm not doing it daily right now, probably twice a week. But it's amazing the way it happens. In the past, I've manifested vacations. Um, One year I said, okay, I'm going on a singles cruise in the Mediterranean and I'm flying business class at least. So next thing you know, I'm flying business class and going on this fantastic cruise. I wanted to go on a big sailboat one time, Windjammer. Said, I'm going to do that. And all of a sudden it happened. You just manifest what you want and it comes to be. And I think everybody has a problem where we're trying to manifest something and then we don't quite believe it.
Yes.
That's where I get stuck. And that's where everybody, I think, gets a little stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
Yeah, and I think when I see you manifest, Shane, a lot of times I see you like you'll go into the meditation and you'll sense it, you know, from our conversations, you'll sense it, you'll feel it, you'll experience it, and then you kind of let it go. And it's after you let it go that it comes back to you, as opposed to those times when we are focusing on having it, and then we have like Linda says, that self-talk starts to happen. And it's like, when you just drop it and let it go, then it has a chance to bounce back to you because your self-talk is not creating a wall.
Exactly. And that is so difficult sometimes when you're feeling desperate.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? That's when I have an issue, is when I'm feeling desperate and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, is this really going to happen? But you're so right. Just let it go. That's when it happens.
Yeah. And command it, like Linda said, or declare it and feel it in your body. And so that way, again, you're resonating it and you're not creating a cross signal. You're just resonating it and you're no longer tripping over your own frequency. And so I do see that someone is asking if Shane can find out who visited them on the ET level. And I would say, Dana, yes, he can. And that's a good time to reach out for him for a reading because I mean, again, like my experience is that we've connected to my departed mother, my departed aunt, and ETs all in the same night. So like it's a smorgasbord. So we have Shane's link down below. So if you'd like to reach out and make that happen, he's more than happy to support you in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just email me and I'll get back to you.
Yep. Worth it, 100%. So I want to then flip over to our next little portion of this. Sorry, my computer is having a little moment of freak out. Okay. So, all right. The conversation then shifted to what Shane and my roles are in connecting with the ETs. Shane is accessing their hearts while I was accessing their data banks or knowledge. This is what Shane relayed to me. Being an empath, I pushed back, saying that I want to access their hearts as well. The clarification came. It's our mission as human collective to access different parts of the ET collective. We work as one body with many parts, Shane elaborated. Shane explained that we are all having different roles in accessing their dimension and that none were greater or less, just different. Again, it's how Shane and I complement each other. All right. Love, our new friends continued, using that one word as a complete directive. Love. Keep on trucking, they encouraged, using our vernacular. And don't forget to be present. Enjoy it on the way up. Shane gave an analogy of what they were presenting. It's like when you're at the airport and you miss the flight. Don't get pissed. Enjoy the person you meet at the airport bar while you wait for the next flight. Again, this message of enjoying the present moment without expectation or demands. Let each moment be its own experience. We are part of their work. We are doing our jobs to hold space for them, Shane continued. He relayed that by us being here in the world as humans, we are holding or carrying their weight. By being humans, we are on the top of the mountain, lifting people up to where the ETs are above that density. I clarified what I thought they were saying, that we are holding the space between humanity and our ET family so that that others could reach them. You, sir, they shot back, are the missing link. Their unique sense of humor made me laugh out loud. I didn't want to overtax Shane's energy, and it seemed like this initial introduction was ready to come to a close. I asked if we could come back and talk to them. We look forward to it, came back the happy reply. I expressed my deep gratitude to them for connecting with us and sharing all that they had given. I asked Shane to let them know that we were going to go for now. Nighty night, they replied. I truly love their ability to connect with us through our colloquialisms, and Shane commented that they must watch our TV shows. I asked Shane if I could do a closing guided meditation with him to collect all of his energy from the ocean, from sunken Atlantis, from the ET's seemingly interdimensional ship, and anywhere else that we had journeyed. This way he wouldn't feel energetically or physically scattered. He readily agreed, and after collecting the energy meditation, I asked him how he felt. I feel calm and energized, he confirmed. Shane and I continued our conversation, and he began to relay more details of what he experienced. This, of course, prompted me to ask more questions about those details. What follows next is a basic reaccounting of the additional data of what was seen, felt, and understood from the various parts of our experiences. So I want to take a moment to pause right now and talk about us being connection points to ET between the ETs and humanity. Like they're saying that this is important us to do, and I want to reflect. Like, why is this important? What are our thoughts and feelings on why playing this role is important for us? What are your thoughts, Shane, when you tune into it? Like,
Bottom line, it's important for unity's sake, love's sake. They want so desperately to be a part of us, and they want us to be a part of them. And we can't continue to be afraid of them, and we need to see them in a different way, that they're here to help us and love us and enjoy our company, learn from us, and they want us to learn from them. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I just realized I was screen sharing BT Dubs. Didn't mean to screen share, but I was shared my little screen there. Has a like, computer glitch. Yeah, I do get that. I feel like when I tune into it, it's like there's this almost sense of like exacerbation where they're just like, ugh, all we want is this unity with you. All we want is this connection with you. And it's just they're craving it so hard. It's like this completion. Like if we can do this, then there's a sense of completion and unity within their experience. And our delay is causing their delay. You know what I mean? It's like we're holding the whole cosmic bus up because we keep pooping our diapers, and they're like, oh, okay, we thought we got you through the diaper pooping part, but we'll hang out until you grow out of that and you can, wipe your own ass. You know what I mean?
Yes.
On a cosmic level. Um, what are your thoughts and feelings, Linda?
I just had this image of putting your big boy and big girl panties on. It's time to put our big kid panties on. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I do think that there's this continual outreach. I don't know that frustration. I think the frustration comes from us watching us make the same mistakes over and over again.
Oh,
I
God.
think that's the frustration of
Yeah.
we've been here, we've done this. But it's there. I think there's above that this underlying love that, again, a parent's love. You can tell your kid over and over again to cross this, watch both ways before you cross the street, and then you watch them dash across the street without doing it, and your heart leaps, and then you do it again, and then you do it again, and hopefully at one point they remember to look both ways when they cross the street. And and then move at the next step. When they're driving that car, they look for the kids that aren't watching both ways when they cross the street. And that's our
Yeah.
evolution.
And I feel like, there's so many of us on the planet that are aware that we are not from here. And there are others starting to wake up from it. There is a ripple of awakening going through the planet and going through the dimensions right now. And I feel what I'm tuning into empathically is that we're kind of the lifeline, and that if we weren't here to anchor their ET or cosmic frequency in our physical body, that it would be so much harder, because they have to have someone who can hold that frequency, that vibration, while still being in this physical density, that we get to anchor both the human and the ET while being the human. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. And Shane, what do you have to say about that?
Well, our humanity makes it difficult to see outside, to see our soul, to see what we need, what they need, and so as we advance, I think we're going to be more able to know who we are, where we come from, and why we are in these bodies, um, just to help each other and to advance and to be at peace and be happy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. And again, when we embody that, that allows us to play in the moment, as opposed to working out of angst, and then we're crossing our purposes again. And we're all, I mean, it's going to be very human and normal for us to have all of those emotions, but to no longer let those emotions impact the rest of our work, but to allow our work to impact our emotions, so those come into alignment and are at, on point and not at cross purpose to what we're here to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. I will continue forward. No longer sharing my screen. Welcome to my world. All right. Naturally, I was curious as to what the beings looked like. Shane said that he was talking to two beings during this unexpected voyage to the stars. He said that when he followed the gold beams and first arrived on the ship, he saw the back of an ET's head, the one that he would momentarily be speaking with, the one who initially greeted him with, "What are you doing here? We're busy." He said that when he first witnessed this being, he was indeed very busy, moving quickly, and that his hands and arms were doing something, and that he was working on all the stuff. Shane said that the back of his head looked gray, but when he turned around, he almost looked like a man. Shane thought that he and the other being standing with him appeared more human to him so that he wouldn't freak out. He reported that they had big round eyes, our size, but the pupils were much bigger. He noticed that they had small lips and did have teeth. Even though he perceived the beings were working, moving their hands and arms, that this was still energy based, what he called mental with movements. He said that there were no instruments and that this was all done by mind. Shane also reported that that there wasn't a sense of time, that he couldn't feel time. This experience of true timelessness continues to amaze and baffle him. While he was on the ship, Shane was able to look out to what he referred to as a bubble window. Later, he explained he meant that it was a dome shaped. He felt that he was able to see several dimensions through the window all at the same time. Shane reported seeing a planet that was a weird green color. "This is our planet," the being told him. Yet through the same window, he could also see Earth with gold beams going down into it from the ship. Shane tried to figure out how this could be. Two screens in one? On the left part of the dome window, he saw Earth, and the view was from right above our atmosphere. On the right side, he saw the green planet, as well as a cluster of lights or stars. He wasn't sure. He felt that he was seeing different times as well as locations through this domed window. And then today, Shane let me know that the dome windows was actually at the top of the ship. I thought it was a side window, like a port window, but it actually started at the side of the ship and went all the way up. So Shane's looking up through the window, seeing all of this. Shane said that he felt warm and very comfortable and extremely peaceful. Reflecting on the experience, he said that it was both amazing and bizarre. Shane said that to the extreme right of the window, he felt souls working together, the ones that are channeled, the ones working with the ETs. I pressed Shane for more details. Were they ascended masters or ET souls? He said that these were beings that had been alive thousands of years ago, but had transcended to the upper levels. They were humans at one time, but in terms of ET or human, essentially souls are souls, ET or otherwise. At the end of our conversation, Shane shared a realization from this encounter, which is that we need to be childlike in our creating, exploring, and manifesting. He reflected now that after his experience, so many of the scriptures of the Bible were making sense to him. Shane experienced the scriptures becoming clear with deeper meaning, the meaning that had been hidden by the distortions and more superficial or literal interpretations offered by the traditional Christian religion. Shane said that he wanted to return to the Atlantis crystals as they stunted and reversed aging. I agreed we'd have to return and that he'd have to share the magic with me as well. And thus concludes our story of Shane and the lost crystals of Atlantis. So obviously, so yay for that story. I love that story so much. The next day I just woke up and was like, I'm alive, I'm alive. Like, I got to connect and communicate with ETs through my friend Shane, and there was just something so life affirming about it. And I wanted to talk to Shane about, in terms of what you do remember and sense. I know that you don't remember everything, but do you still have a sense of that timelessness on the ship and being able to see through that portal?
It's such a difficult thing to fathom, being in timelessness. I do remember the dome. It was, it was the ceiling, a dome-shaped ceiling, and it was like a window computer all in one. It was just so incredibly different. And I remember looking to the right, and I could see their planet. Looking to the left, it was our planet, and then looking below, they were right over the Earth, and they were doing their work for us. And I think they kind of cloak themselves so we see what is comfortable for us. You know what I mean? Like, so we don't get freaked out by their look. So it's like you look at them and they just look like a person. I think if another race of aliens looked at them, they would see their alien race type of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that
With
they're
a
going to
little bit
adapt
of
their.
alterations where you can kind of see what we really look like, but we're not going to show you that right now.
It's kind of, I mean, and that's you hear that in different stories where people who are abductee or contactees, depending on their experience of that, if they're in trauma or if they feel like they're connected, they'll see like an owl, like a giant owl or some other animal, and so there's like a masking of what they're seeing. The eyes will be big and huge, and they'll see those eyes, and they're like, owls aren't that big, or how is that deer standing like that looking at me? And so there's something that's not quite right, but there's something familiar, so the ET's visage doesn't freak them out.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine that, yeah, they can do that in other places and locations, wherever. So that's just more of a gradual transition versus, especially somebody like an insectoid. Like, I think I would probably do okay. I would probably still poop myself a little bit. If I saw a gray, like, I'd like to think I would be okay. But like if I saw a mantid, I would probably, because they're huge, and they look like, insects, giant insects. And that's what our like horror movies are from the 50s and 60s, like these giant spiders or giant, insects that are like, destroying or eating people. And so I think that there's a desensitization or a clearing of that connection so we can see them and not have to be so alien phobic, ET phobic.
Right.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Linda?
I'm sitting back again in observation, wondering the timing. I find it interesting in this 2020 that we've
2021?
gone
Oh,
through, that it
that
has
the one.
been,
Okay.
or 2021, 2020, 2021,
Yeah.
that we are so bombarded with crap and so in shock of our world around us that our government is now leaking its own information about UFOs. And we go, oh, yeah. Like,
Yes.
oh my God, our government finally admitted that there's stuff like they've always had it, but they're finally admitting it. And we go, that's it, right? So we're at that stage where it's no, I mean, and even so, there's still people that say, they could come out here and I completely freak out. I think they're testing the water for us as a society, as a world, that we don't all freak out. Because there's at some point, they can't keep it hidden anymore. Like there's enough of us out there that see this. We now have phones that have cameras. Like it's not something that can be hidden so easily anymore. So at this point in junction, it's kind of like they have no choice. They can't whitewash this anymore. They can't gaslight us into saying that it doesn't exist. So how do we move forward in a way that we've got different levels of society that some people see everything, some people don't see anything, and there's everything in between. So how do we bring that together? I really think that for all of us, that's where we all play a part, no matter where we are, of reducing that fear, creating a world of curiosity. And again, I'm floored that they said this, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they admitted that the UFOs were real, and it didn't like that's front page news. That's a headline. And it was just like boop, it came, it went. And that's part of us of the desensitization, as well as I think what Linda said, we're so distracted that we're like, people are in so much trauma and upset and people right now that it didn't even register the way it should have because they're
Right. And
so distracted.
it's not the first time. The first time that the government, well, not the government, but people who are in the government actually came together and for 2 hours talked about their experiences
Yes.
was on 9/11. And 9/11 hit and that got washed away. There's a
Yes.
2 hour press conference of all these government people talking about, from astronauts to people working in the defense industry, talking about their experiences with UFOs. How much, I mean, that should have been like oh my God, but
Right.
9/11 hit. So it's interesting for me that we're so easily distracted in this society that I think part of it is this, denial is a wide river to cross. And some people are very much in denial.
And also, the media is hooked up with the distraction machine, right? Like the media isn't operating independently. They're totally co-opted by the forces that are perpetuating certain narratives. So, no one's going to give a story on this or that isn't ordained by the powers that are controlling the narrative. No one that like it's like the 1% controls 90% of the media or more now. So it's just you have to take that into account as well. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's the planet that we live on.
Yeah. And again, if that denial factor, when I followed a UFO with my cousin through 3 towns, the first town we were in, I was pointing it out to people and getting every kind of response other than, oh, there's a UFO. My cousin could see it from 2 miles away, and it sat there and hovered till he caught up with us. And while I'm waiting, I'm pointing it to people, and it's like, oh, that's a helicopter in the clouds. Explain how that happens. These are lights going in and out of a cloud, different colored lights, all on their own. Oh, that's a helicopter. Oh, I don't see anything. So I just find it fascinating how we can all look at the same thing and not see, and some people not see it.
Absolutely. What has your experience been, Shane? Have you visually seen any UFOs in the sky or ships?
Not not particularly. It's mostly I see it sort of with my third eye,
Hmm.
not really physically. I know they're up there. I can describe what they look like. And I mean, they're ships. It's like to them, they're their ships. I mean, what is a UFO? It's just a ship.
Hmm.
Um, and as far as politics are concerned, it's like everything gets taken so seriously. When you really look at it, they're toddlers. Like, Mr. President, share your chicken McNuggets with the emir already. It'd be nice. It's like we need to start looking inside and in our souls and see what's really going on and leave all the nonsense. Leave it alone. It doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah. Stop entertaining the drama
Am I
and
just getting way off the subject?
no,
Just way
no, I
off.
think it's a salon. We get to talk about our feelings and thoughts. We get to do that.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions from our people in the chats, Linda, that you had noticed, or any points that you thought were we wanted to share with in the larger conversation?
I think they're really engaged in this, and um, they're enjoying the conversation. I think they're following along, but I don't see a whole lot of questions at this point. Just a lot
Okay.
of yeah,
Ah,
in my experience, and yeah.
that's awesome. Cool. Well, yeah, I can say that I'm so excited about getting more immersed into this. I'm going to attend the Sasquatch family reunion at the end of May. I really I hope others can make it there as well. I'm reaching out to the woman. Her name's Kelly Rainbow Butterfly, and so she's the woman who's heading up the event. And at first, I was hesitant to reach out to her because I was like, that the names to me just sounded so ungrounded that I was like, is this going to be like a total hippie thing? And I have got an inner hippie as well, but just being like, yeah, Sasquatch is really cool. I love, and it being more like a little more spacey and not as grounded. But I watched one of her talks yesterday, and she's really grounded and she's very relatable. So I'm reaching out to her to see if she'll be in our show next week. But Shane and I, last time we hung out in the hot tub, which was last weekend, I got home at 2 in the morning. I cannot do that again. But anyway, so we were hanging out in the hot tub, and then we were talking about the Sasquatch reunion, and then Shane connected into the Sasquatch tribe. So it's one of those things where wherever we focus, Shane's able to connect into that. So even if you feel like maybe you have a Sasquatch family connection, Shane could dip into that for you as well. Do you remember us connecting with the Sasquatches, Shane? I don't expect you to, but I'm just wondering if you do.
Yes, I remember the campfire. I remember them sort of in the background, um, sort of afraid. And then we invited them in. There was one that was like a teenager,
Mhm.
and they were just awesome. Just awesome.
Yeah, and then we in this alternate state, like we started playing some music and we started dancing, and the Sasquatch thought that was really like funny. And I don't know if they started dancing with us or not, but they enjoyed the energy. It's part of what made them feel comfortable with us is that we were just like having a good time and
Yes.
not being freaked out, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to say, I just had this image of Shane being the radio station and you being the tuner.
That's a perfect analogy. That's exactly right. He's receiving all these frequencies at once. And then I'm like, Shane, hone into this one frequency and follow it. And I'm empathically following him along. I'm sensing and feeling. I'm not seeing the way he's seeing, but I'm able to then continue and guide us in even deeper.
Yeah. 99 point, the lightning psychic. Tune in.
Ah, I like that. 99 point zap.
No doubt about that. Let me tell you, it was shocking. Wouldn't want to do it again.
You can have your
Oh.
own call numbers, KZAP.
KCAP. All right, Shane, it writes itself. You know what you have to do next? Your own radio show.
Oh, yeah.
Hashtag KZAP.
What was that, Linda?
Hashtag KZAP.
Hashtag KZAP 100%. Oh, all right. Well, we are going to wrap it up there. It was a little bit of a shorter show, but I was so excited to share this experience to finally have the right time because I've been, holding this for the last year and this was just so synchronistic for it to be almost a year to the day anniversary. So I want to remind everybody that Shane is available for psychic readings. His information is down below. And you can certainly reach out. And I would say to reach out to him now because I have a feeling that very soon he's not going to be as available as his career continues to expand and take off. So now would be the good time to reach out while he still has a bandwidth for one-on-one readings. And I would like to thank all of our salon members. Thank you, Linda Coulter Burge, for just being who you are, radiant goddess friend. Thank you for being here, Linda.
Yes,
I I look forward to every single Saturday and sharing time online with our friends and offline in our group. Join us on our Facebook group and get to know everybody better. And I just have such love for the space and energy that we are all collectively creating here.
Yes.
and
Thank you.
I would just like to say, I would like to do a show with you guys where Kat is actually putting me into an altered state
Ooh.
and we go somewhere.
Are you guys going to be in the hot tub?
Oh,
I
that would
think
be
we should
great.
have.
The psychic hot tub. That would be great. Maybe Shane can just be coming out of the hot tub so he's all nice and relaxed. But literally getting Shane into an altered state is like giving candy to a baby. It doesn't take much. And everyone can track the meditation as well and go into their own altered state. But Shane, I would love to do that. Give us some comments both in the live stream and if you're watching this after the live stream, give us some comments below if you'd like to experience Shane one-on-one doing a live stream and us going in real time on a journey with him. Let us know if that excites you because I think it's a great idea. So your feedback makes an impact. Let us know. And I do want to thank our live stream chatters that are with us, our tribe, our people. We love you. And we just are so grateful for how you show up with your energy every Saturday. And it's just so much fun playing with you. If you like Linda said, if you haven't joined our Facebook group, please do. And of course, thank you, Shane, for being here with us today. Did you have fun today,
It
Mr.
was
Shane?
awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
An utter delight.
It was great.
Thank you. And then we got all of our links below, like I said, so check all of that info out. And again, thank you for the donations that you make to us. It always helps us and supports the show. And next week, let's manifest having Kelly Rainbow Butterfly on to talk about Sasquatch and the upcoming Sasquatch family reunion. Because we've talked about Sasquatch on the show before, but never with Kelly. And she's had some unique and amazing experiences that I would love to bring into the forefront of our consciousness. And again, like, share, subscribe, share our content, make the tribe even bigger by being an ambassador for our community and the love and the fun that we have here. And on that note, thank you, everyone. We love you. Take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be kinder to others. And we'll see you back here next week. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.